welcome in, folks, to another great episode of I've Got a Theory. I'm here with my friend and teammate on my real estate team, John Prentice.
Hi, everyone.
John's here not to talk about real estate, but he does have a theory. So, John, tell me what you got.
Okay, so I've got years and years of customer service experience, a lot of public contact work. And so over the years, I've developed the theory that people treat you the way that you expect them to. Yeah, there are certain, there's going to be exceptions and so forth. But if you go through your life and your work with the idea that people are going to treat you the way that you should be treated, with respect, generally treat you well, treat you good, you're going to find that for the most part, people will.
Do you have any examples?
I do have an example. I think basically, when you're expecting the best from people, you're kind of presetting your brain to see the positive opportunities in your interactions with people. One example is, the salesperson's, I guess you could say, one of their least favorite activities is maybe cold calling. Once upon a time, not that long ago, I was cold calling folks, seniors, to see if they could use some assistance in transitioning from big households to smaller, easier places to take care of. As quite honestly, as a real estate agent, I was pitching folks on downsizing their homes. Long story short is I was having a conversation with a woman, and she kind of more or less screamed at me, "Well, where am I supposed to go?" And I froze because I felt like she was attacking me because she was angry that I was calling her and so forth. And I kind of froze, and it gave me a moment where I was like, to heck with this. But as I paused, it occurred to me that she's really expressing a frustration. Had I thought that, people are always going to hang up on me, walk away, pound their phone to the cradle, I probably could have given up right there. But as it turns out, she was expressing a frustration. And at that moment of tension, I recognized that she's just frustrated with a really tough market because there aren't a lot of properties available for this type of a move, a downsizing move for an elderly family. Anyway, the point to this is that it would have been easy for me to just take that as a brush off, a blow off, and not develop a relationship and not provide some options that might be helpful to this family, had I a less positive view of my interaction with people.
So, John, let me ask further, because you're kind of going on. You can talk to me about this too. You don't have to look at the screen.
Yeah.
With this, so you're saying that people respond to you based on how you expect them to, right? And this may be an 80-20 type problem, right? Because I know we've had conversations where like, wow, that did not go how I expected it to.
Yes.
Because sometimes you go into a conversation like, this is how it's going to go down. Mm-hmm. You have a visual or a mental outline of what's going to happen, and then it takes a complete 180-degree turn, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you're going the opposite direction. Like now you're backtracking, and I do this as well too, because I'm always cold calling other professionals, other agents, and a lot of times people on the other side don't know what to expect because I'm calling them literally out of the blue, much like anyone that's cold calling anyone for something out of the blue. If they're selling pens or houses or whatever they're selling, it doesn't matter. But I'm finding that if I can come from a place of value and contribution, it sets the expectations for them in that first 15 or 20 seconds that we're talking, that this is going to be a productive conversation with them, right? And so now their expectations are shifted from, what's this guy trying to sell me? Mm-hmm. Is he trying to sell me a coaching package? Because that's a lot of that is going on. Yeah. Are you a digital marketer? I was joking the other day with a digital marketer. I was like, if I had $1 for every time a digital marketer contacted me, I'd make more money than the digital marketers that I paid that have brought me leads.
Right.
So, but it's setting the expectations that of what you think you can provide. And I think if you come in with that attitude, that helps a lot better than the people that come in, with a frowny face and a negative attitude, expecting everyone's going to turn on them, right? Or everyone's against them, right? And so the people that believe that are usually right? Mm-hmm. If you're out there saying the world's out to get me and everyone's out to take away from me or attack me or challenge me, well, then you're probably right, because if you come off defensive, people are you're gonna push back, right?
I think so. I've only been, toying with this idea in my head, and I haven't really charted it out. But I think it starts with you're having to be sure that what you are doing is honest and meaningful, and it's not that you're out looking to take advantage of folks through a facade of expecting them to be nice or you being nice so that they'll be nice, but really that you have confidence in yourself and that what you're doing is a decent pursuit, and you're engaging other people with, as you suggest, with something of real value, something that could be meaningful to their lives or may not be. But either way, you leave the interaction with a potential new contact, friend, or relationship that you can enjoy, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to come into something expecting the best, but also you should kind of plan for the worst. Like, okay, I expect this conversation to go in this direction, but if it takes a turn, here's how I can handle it, right? And that's why in real estate we do scripts practice and you do objection handlers, so you can figure out how you can kind of massage a conversation in a way that's beneficial for both people, right?
Yeah.
Because with our business or with most businesses, it should be a win-win.
Yes.
Right. And whether we're talking to someone to sell them something or create a relationship or just to have a conversation, right? I'm talking to people at the grocery store on a regular basis about whether the watermelon is ripe, or if a mom's got her kid with her, I'm going to let her go in front of me because I'm usually not in that big of a rush because maybe my kids are at home and they're not with me. So small things like that create opportunities for connection. Yeah. Because, fortunately here in San Diego, everyone seems to be 2 degrees of separation apart.
Yeah.
Right.
If that.
And so everyone knows each other, and if they don't, you're about to know someone that does know that person. So it's a small world out here, and so now if you kind of come with the expectation that, hey, it's maybe not just me and you, but it's also all the people that you know, and all the people I know every time we interact, right? Every time you need something, you're like, hey, I've got a client that needs this. Hey, I've got a person that can handle that need. So we just solved 2 other people's problems because they can provide a service for a client that needs something that I know how I can solve that problem.
Yeah.
Right. So we're connecting people, and that's a fundamental human.
I'd say
feature.
need. I'd say it's a need.
It's a need, and a feature that we have is that we can connect things and make it happen because we're not. No man is an island, right? Yeah. No person can say I can do it all by myself, right? I don't need anyone. So now this kind of attitude of having that expectation that if you're expecting them to have a positive reaction to you, well, yeah, bring it. Bring it. Give them something to have a positive reaction to you from, and then know that you're providing value, and then they're going to react in kind.
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of has to do with the idea that you're confident that what you're doing is meaningful and useful, and that as you take things out into the world, that kind of reciprocity should, doesn't always, but for the most part, should follow in place.
So you're going to you're adding up like your karmic points that you've got.
Something like that.
In terms of like, you're just building up, and I've heard it described as credits. Right? Yeah. Where you kind of build up like personal credits. Like, oh, John treated me well again. That's another kudo from him. I expect him to act that way always.
Right.
Right. And so you get these credits. And then if something goes sideways once because you're having a bad day or a client, pissed you off or whatever, and then you lash out at someone, hopefully they consider it what's considered an idiosyncratic credit. Right?
Yes.
Hey, most of the time John's nice. He must have had a bad day. I don't know why he did that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But that comes up with you building your reputation of who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's 100% of the time, and so absolutely. I mean, I think I read something very similar in marriage. Where you're building up emotional credit, and every now and then there's a withdrawal because you came home and kicked the dog, so to speak, or something along those lines. And absolutely, I mean, ultimately we're all humans, and we're going to have those situations where we will be drawing on those credits.
Yeah, so I like this theory. So the theory again is that people react and respond to you in the ways that you expect most times.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if you go into it with the mindset that this is going to go well, it usually does.
Yes.
Right? And it's similar with our business. And I know we don't like to talk about real estate, but like if you go into an appointment saying, I'm going to get a positive outcome from this appointment,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the people on the other end of the appointment can feel that energy.
Yeah.
This person's got confidence. They know what they're doing. They're going to take care of this,
Yeah.
and we're going to get that house sold or buy a house or help me with my other issue, whatever it's going to be.
Or get a referral or have a new friend.
Right. Whatever it's going to be is that now I've got another person in my network, and additionally, I've got everyone in their network.
Yeah. I think that ties along very well with your general principle that, for example, other agents are not competition; they're adversaries. I'm sorry, not adversaries. They're a potential resource that you can provide something to, or they could possibly provide something for you.
Strategic partners.
Strategic partners is the phrase.
Strategic partners. They should be a strategic partner. It's nice because I'm just finished a transaction with an agent, and I had a client hit me up asking about a listing that same agent is listing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, see, small world, let's make it happen. And I'm glad that we kept a professional, positive demeanor throughout the transaction, even when things did go sideways a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kept their cool because people like working with professionals that keep their cool.
Yeah.
Right. And that are just effective and are professional. Mm-hmm. Right. No one likes working with the hotheads. So, but now I've set that expectation with her that, hey, cool, it's easy to work with Henish. She doesn't get pissed off about stuff.
Right.
When it's just business.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks for coming on the show and joining us and sharing your theory. I think that does make a lot of sense, and hopefully people take that to heart when they're conversing and communicating and reaching out to people, is that expect the best because the people on the other side can feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on another show of I've Got a Theory with Henish Pulikel. Thank you, John Prentice, for joining us, and tune in for next time.